Are you enjoying your trip? Ben asked over the phone. I could only look down in response. I couldn't say anything back. Ben seemed puzzled by my silence. I couldn't tell him how miserable I was feeling. I couldn't say I was being constantly exploited by my husband and mother-in-law. What should I do? How can I escape this lowest of low positions as a human being? How can I get back at my mother-in-law and husband? I decided to confess the truth. I couldn't bear it alone anymore. I was going to tell Ben everything. Whatever happens next, I'll accept it with resolve. I started to speak to Ben. My name is Ellen, a housewife in my 40s. I live with my husband Jackie and my parents-in-law, making us a family of 4. My mother-in-law Shannon regularly harasses me, making me work hard and saying terrible things. Ben used to warn her, but she got sneakier, doing it without him noticing. Both Ben and Jackie are fooled by this. Get out of this house. I'm sick of living with you. I was bombarded with such words daily. My heart was already exhausted, but I managed to keep going because Ben supported me. Ellen, you're doing great, Jackie and Shannon. We all appreciate it. Sorry for Shannon's harsh behavior. I wish she could see your charm, Ellen. Ben's kind words made me love him as if he were my real family. Forced to live with my parents-in-law right after marriage, Shannon's orders kept me working. Ben's words were my salvation. My relationship with Shannon worsened, but I managed because Ben was on my side. Even when I felt broken, Ben's words could repair me. That's why I could think, I'll try harder next time. Jackie never sided with me. He even supported Shannon. It's your fault for not listening to Mom, he said. Ben always scolded Jackie for that. Ben, my father-in-law, was someone I was proud of despite the hardship. I somehow got through each day. One day, Shannon suggested a trip. She wanted to go with Jackie and me to Ben's vacation home. Ben isn't much of a traveler. He prefers staying home. Ben, who had inherited his vacation home from relatives, would clean it regularly but mostly left it unused. Although I'd been there for cleaning several times, the place was impressive, surrounded by tourist attractions. I too thought it was a waste not being used. However, the idea of going with Shannon and Jackie, the worst combination, wasn't appealing. I wanted to stay home, but Shannon insisted. That's not happening. Jackie and I plan to have a barbecue. Who will prepare it if you're not here? Plus, we need you to drive there. Without you, we can't enjoy our trip, Shannon said, clearly treating me as nothing more than a housekeeper. Hearing her, I wasn't so docile to agree easily. Do you think I'd willingly go just for that? If I'm traveling, I want to enjoy it too. If it's just for you two to have a good time, I don't want to go, I responded. Such arrogance for a son's wife. Shouldn't you just follow along quietly? Don't you want to serve your parents-in-law? Shannon challenged. But I started anyway. A son's wife doesn't have the right to refuse. Just go and get Ben's permission. After that, Shannon wouldn't listen to anything I said, ignoring my voice and my pleas. Realizing resistance was futile, I had to talk to Ben. A trip. That's nice. Take this chance to relax, Ellen, Ben said, unaware of everything, with a kind smile. I wanted to tell him everything Shannon had said right then, but doing so would only cause more trouble between the in-laws, something I couldn't bear. So I suppressed my feelings and replied with a smile, thank you. Let me know if something comes up. I was too afraid to further damage the in-laws' relationship and said nothing. The day of the trip seemed so daunting. I couldn't help but wish it would end quickly. I was already thinking that as I was dragged out by an excited Jackie and Shannon early in the morning. I was behind the wheel. It was hard enough to be up so early, and I had to drive while Shannon and Jackie comfortably slept in the back seat. Resentful and rubbing my sleepy eyes, we finally arrived at Ben's vacation home. Then I need you to buy barbecue supplies, Shannon demanded. Exhausted from the long drive and lack of sleep, I asked for a rest. A son's wife's job is to listen to us. I won't tolerate any defiance, she snapped. Jackie added, if you defy us, we might as well leave you here in the mountains right now. His words were harsh. With Ben, who always protected me, not here, I reluctantly went alone to a distant grocery store for the barbecue. After laboriously carrying too much food for 3 people, I was then told to prepare the barbecue. The tools were there but hadn't been used in years, so cleaning and replenishing missing items were needed. I ended up repairing everything, phone in hand, looking up what I didn't know. Meanwhile, Shannon and Jackie relaxed inside the vacation home, lying on the sofa. They casually said things like looking forward to the barbecue and can't wait for the setup to be done without any regard for my feelings. It was still cold outside, and despite being bundled up, cold is cold. Rubbing my numb hands together, I finished the preparations. Finally, Shannon and Jackie came out. Good job, you can go back inside the house now, Ellen, Shannon said. But aren't we going to the barbecue? I asked. Yes, but just Jackie and me. Prepare your own meal, she replied, and then left to join Jackie. They started the barbecue without me, leaving me behind after all the prep work. I had to make my own meal. The unfairness was overwhelming, but I held back my frustration and returned inside. Luckily, I wasn't asked to do anything else that day and could relax in the assigned room. The next day, Shannon called me again. We're going to a famous spa, she said with excitement, talking to Jackie. That's great. I'll get ready, I responded. No need, Shannon said. You stay here. We'll enjoy the spa, just the two of us, she smiled. Jackie agreed. Nice idea, he said. While I was relieved not to have to go with them, I still felt a sense of unresolved frustration. Left behind by Jackie and Shannon, I stayed in the room. They took the car, and since the vacation home was in the mountains, there was nothing nearby for entertainment. The trip was boring, killing time in the room. My mobile phone rang. It was Ben. Answering the call, he said he was concerned and wanted to check in. Enjoying your trip? Ben asked, his voice filled with hope. I didn't know how to respond. Should I honestly tell him I was left alone in the room, feeling lonely, that I couldn't even enjoy the barbecue and was bored? I wondered if sharing this would upset Ben. Previously, my defiance toward Shannon and snitching to Ben had severely strained the in-laws' relationship. I had often witnessed their disputes, and undeniably it was my fault. Yet I couldn't bring myself to complain any further to Ben, fearing it would worsen their relationship and cause him more pain. Faced with such thoughts, I found myself unable to speak. Ben seemed puzzled by my silence. Is something wrong? He asked gently. Each time he asked, my heart wavered, thinking I should just be honest about everything. I was at my limit. I couldn't bear Shannon and Jackie's harassment any longer. I didn't want to be manipulated by them anymore. Resolutely, I decided to tell Ben everything. I'm here as a housekeeper, I said. Ben murmured in surprise. What? What do you mean by that, Ellen? Exactly as I said. I was brought on this trip to work. Right now, they're at the spa, and I'm left here to house sit. Ben gasped. That's unbelievable, he said, even over the phone. I could feel his pain. I didn't want to cause such a kind and caring person like Ben a distress, but I had reached my breaking point. I told Ben everything that had happened since arriving at the vacation home. Ben was outraged. Incredible. You work to the bone, and they don't even thank you. They just leave you to house sit. I'll contact Shannon right away. Can you wait a little longer, Ellen? He said. I nodded and hung up. After a while, Jackie called. What do you think you're doing? Telling Dad. That's sneaky. His voice was angry and panicked, probably scolded by Ben. I only did what was right. What you and Shannon did to me deserves at least as much. What grudge do you have against us? Are you happy ruining someone's family? He retorted. You're talking about ruining lives when you're currently ruining mine, I replied. Jackie fell silent, probably at a loss for words. Given the extent of this, continuing our marriage seems impossible. I know it's odd to say here, but let's get a divorce. I can't deal with you anymore. Jackie started to panic. I was wrong. I said too much. Please don't talk about divorce. We need you, Ellen. Think it over. You don't need me. You need a housekeeper, right? I shot back. Jackie and Shannon didn't want me. They wanted a compliant housekeeper, someone who wouldn't resist and would just follow orders. It's unrealistic to expect someone to do that when it's not even their job. Two people, both utterly selfish in their ways, but this would end today. If everything went smoothly, I'd finally be free from them. The thought made my heart leap with excitement. Shannon's voice came through the phone as Jackie fell silent, unable to respond. Give it to me, Ellen. What do you think you're doing? Are you happy making us the villains by telling Ben unnecessary things? Shannon was yelling. The old me would have been scared of her, but now, with the divorce and my impending freedom from Shannon near, she didn't scare me at all. It's because you and Jackie are too selfish. If you had treated me with more respect, this wouldn't have happened, I said. I always thought you were too cheeky for a son's wife. When I became Ben's wife, my mother-in-law treated me much stricter, and I persevered every day. I'm trying to toughen you up, Shannon exclaimed. Isn't that mindset outdated? Why must family members be at odds? Can't we cooperate on things we can't do alone? It's clear our views are too different, Shannon. I can't stay in this family if it means enduring such treatment. You won't survive anywhere with that attitude. Do you think it's okay for a son's wife to talk back to her mother-in-law like that? She barked. It doesn't matter since we're getting a divorce, I replied. Shannon scolded me, but who did she think she was? She only made me do housework, criticizing my methods, my attitude, always complaining without reason. How was that tying me up? I didn't understand it at all. No need to engage further. I decided to pack my bags and head to the nearest bus stop. If I could reach the airport, I could go back home. I was tired of being subjected to Shannon and Jackie's whims. I'm going home, I said, about to hang up when Shannon's desperate voice came through. Wait, you'll regret this. Ignoring her like the howl of a defeated dog, I hung up, packed my bags, and prepared to leave. For the first time since coming, I felt lighthearted and noticed the beauty of nature surrounding Ben's vacation home. I went back home and started preparing for the divorce. Fortunately, Ben introduced me to a lawyer who seemed very dependable. Upon consultation, I decided to hire him. However, Shannon and Jackie refused to accept the divorce. Instead, they made absurd claims like, "Come back and we'll forgive you for a payment," as if I would pay to return to that terrible situation. Still, they stubbornly persisted, so I consulted with the lawyer about our next steps. One day, I received a call from Ben. Apparently, the two were insistent on meeting me just once. You don't have to if it's too much, but, Ben said. Not wanting to trouble him further, I decided to meet them with a lawyer present. The meeting was set in a private room of a restaurant, arranged and paid for by Ben. Arriving early, I waited in the room. Soon, Shannon and Jackie entered. What are you thinking? You don't come home, and now you're demanding alimony. Is that how you treat family? They bombarded me with harsh words. I'd never felt like family to them. But Ben, I started, they've been horrible to me. I couldn't understand why I was the only one being blamed. I looked down, unsure of what to say. Enough. Ben raised his voice. You said you wanted to apologize, so Ellen came here, and all you do is insult her. What's the purpose of your visit if not to apologize? Ben, usually mild-mannered, was furious, a side of him I'd never seen before. Even Shannon and Jackie seemed taken aback by his anger. Ben was that angry. Moved by Ben's defense, I felt tears welling up. Jackie, perhaps prompted by Ben, tried to apologize despite Shannon's protests. I'm truly sorry. Please come back. We can't manage without you, Jackie said. Jackie then described the chaos at the in-laws' house. Ben had left them tired of their behavior, and now Shannon and Jackie were struggling in their large house. Shannon had turned her hostility towards Jackie, who was now juggling work and house chores, constantly berated by Shannon. I noticed the exhaustion on Jackie's face, dark circles under his eyes and chapped lips. He seemed utterly worn out. The torment he had once inflicted on me was now being directed at him by Shannon. Jackie desperately pleaded for me to return, but Shannon interrupted. You fooled Ben and now Jackie. You're a wicked woman. Marrying you was a mistake. Shannon raged with misplaced anger. Jackie looked scared by her outburst. Jackie kept pleading for me to return while Shannon hurled insults, calling me a demon. Nodding to their requests meant returning to a hellish life. Who would willingly choose that? I have no intention of going back there. The divorce will definitely go through, I said firmly. Please, somehow, Jackie pleaded desperately. Despite feeling a bit sorry for him, I remembered how he had mocked me. No matter what you say, my decision won't change. Is that all? I don't want to waste more time on you. Ben nodded his approval, and I left the private room. Jackie's plea, wait for me, echoed loudly. The recording of the meeting, which I had made, was handed over to my lawyer as evidence. The abnormal behavior of Shannon and Jackie was clearly documented, and the divorce was successfully finalized. Later, I heard that Ben divorced Shannon and cut ties with Jackie. Jackie, driven to escape from Shannon, had moved out of the in-laws' house. According to a mutual friend, Jackie's mental health deteriorated significantly because of Shannon, affecting his work and leading him to seek counseling. Shannon continued living in the in-laws' house, now infamous in the neighborhood as a garbage house, unable to pay for utilities. My actions might have contributed to the disintegration of the in-laws' relationships. However, post-divorce, I've been living true to myself, not solely by my own strength. I've been meeting Ben frequently. Often he insists on paying for meals as his way of apologizing for the trouble caused. I have no resentment towards Ben, who has always been helpful. I've indulged in his kindness. He's planning to take me to a fine restaurant next, a prospect I eagerly anticipate as I continue to strive forward each day.